Hello, it's Liz Yuille from Old Staples Crafts. It's Saturday, so it's Simple Stamping Saturday time. The time where I take one stamp set, one basic design, do a clean and simple card, and then step it up twice so that you get 3 ideas from the same basic design. And you also can see how things step up. Today I'm looking at the Seasons of Fun stamp set, and particularly this image, although I am looking at that as well. This is the customer gift for this month, so anyone who orders from me in October and uses the host code, placing a qualifying order of £50 or more, and you will get the Seasons of Fun stamp set as a gift from me when the month closes out, so early November. You also get, just for shopping with me, a thank you card and a handmade thank you gift. And if you use the host code, whatever size order, you also get the card kits for the month, which are 2 cards, so a kit to make 2 cards. If you place an order of £150 or more, please do not use the host code. Either look at the starter kit or be your own host, and then you can select your own choice of gift. So, and I must remember that for every £45 you spend in October, you will also get to choose a Celebration item free from me, because I've got a Celebration extension. The only item that at the time of filming has sold out, as far as I'm concerned, is this one. But everything else, including the host kit, the host set, which is this, is still available. And if you want this, place a £45 order and you are able to select that from me. I'll email you when the order comes through and let you know what's still available, and you can choose what you want. However, enough blether from me. We're already 2 minutes in. So, Seasons of Fun. I've mounted my boy playing, well, I'm guessing it's a boy, it could be a girl, playing with leaves and a little puzzle cat. This is on a D block, and I'm using Early Espresso. The card that we're making is this. This uses, as well as the Early Espresso, the watercolour pencils selection 2, so assortment 2, which are, oops, sorry, I've just knocked my light, these. So that is, come on, Balmy Blue, Cajun Craze, Night of Navy, Flirty Flamingo, Cherry Cobbler, Crushed Curry, Garden Green, Granny Apple Green, Gorgeous Grape and Coastal Cabana. The first assortment includes, although I'm not using them, Melon Mambo, Bermuda Bay, White, Daffodil Delight, and then the ones that I am going to be using are Calypso Coral, I'll come back to that one, Pumpkin Pie, Old Olive, Rich Raspberry, Early Espresso, Real Red, Basic Grey, Pacific Point and Black. So the first thing I want to do is to stamp. I'm using vanilla note cards and envelopes because that's the autumnal feel, and I have, of course, because it is Simple Stamping Saturday, made a point, that's not quite the right word, but I have remembered to stamp on my envelope as well, because we always do that on Simple Stamping Saturday. So the first thing to do is to stamp our image, and as I say, I'm using Early Espresso. It just softens the image a bit from Tuxedo Black, which can be a little harsh on occasions, and because I'm using very vanilla, I just wanted a slightly softer look. So, Early Espresso, really, really dark brown. It's almost black, but not quite. While I've got my ink pad out, I will also bring in a piece of scrap paper, which I'm going to need anyway, but I will stamp on my envelope. That's the top. So let me just ink up the top of my stamp and have him throwing leaves around on the front of my envelope as well. I'm not going to colour the front of the envelope, but it's just fun it gives a hint of what's going on on the inside. So that's all I need the ink pad for. I should add that on my original I did use the Early Espresso ink pad to colour in the cat because there wasn't a dark brown, but as we already had the Early Espresso on our shopping list, I thought I would just use that as well. I am going to be using one of our blender pens. These come in a pack of 3, so they are amazing value, and they last forever. Well, I mean, not literally forever, but for a really long time. What I always do is make sure that I scribble before I use them and after I've used them. That way, with the belt and braces, it's highly likely that I will not go from, let's say, for example, basic black onto pumpkin pie, which would not be a good look. Anyway, enough blether from me. I'm going to start at the top and work down. So I've got my rich raspberry. I probably won't colour the whole image. I'll just give you an idea with these colours rather than the first set of, or I should technically say the second set of watercolour pencils, because these are assortment 1 and I used assortment 2 for my first card. So I'm just laying down pigment. It does take a while because this is quite a detailed image with all the leaves, so hence I may not finish the whole of the colouring because there is quite a lot. Now that I've decided is an ear muff or an ear flap from his hat. So there we go. And what I tend to do is do the colouring and then come back. Actually, I need this. Do I need it again? No, I won't. I'll use this. What I tend to do is colour everything and then use my blender pen. Real red for his jumper. I'm not going for necessarily colours that go. I'm going for, this is a young person having fun in the autumn, and young people don't tend to worry about their colour coordination. Certainly when I was a child, you just put on comfortable clothes and got on with it. Maybe now things are different. Anyway, so hence I am using real red and rich raspberry, which I wouldn't necessarily say are a thing that would match, but you know. Pacific Point for my blue. So what I'm trying to do is use the same colour, if not the same tone of the same colour on both projects. So just colouring his jumper. And who doesn't like a striped jumper in the autumn? Keep you nice and cosy with that lovely roll neck. And just to differentiate between his jumper and his trousers, I'm going to do his trousers in basic grey. On the first one I went Night of Navy and Night of Navy, but there isn't such a wide choice of colours in the second set, which actually there's almost more of a choice, but they're quite extreme. So things like Granny Apple Green, which wouldn't have looked right on an autumn, for me anyway, wouldn't have looked right on an autumn scene. I'm going to go Early Espresso for my cat, and then I'm going to come in and do my leaves so that you can get an idea of what that looks like, and I will show you what I'm going to do with the Calypso Coral because that may be a little bit of a surprise. But I want a reasonable amount of colour on my cat so that it really stands out. You can add more. Once you've blended everything out, you can come back in and blend more. But I do want it to be obvious that the cat's there, rather than it blending into the leaves. You could leave it white, because obviously that would stand out from a selection of leaves. I'm going for black on his shoes. Wellington boots, I'm thinking, or gum boots, or whatever they're called in whatever part of the world you're from. It's always nice to know, actually, where people are watching from. When I do my YouTube lives on Tuesday and Thursdays, I have, depending on which one I do, because one's in the morning, one's in the afternoon, I'm going pumpkin pie now. I get Americans, Canadians, Australians, New Zealanders, as well as the UK, obviously, and Europeans. So people from the Netherlands and France. So all over, which is great fun. And if you've got a Google account, you can log into YouTube, which is owned by Google, and you can leave comments so that I can see them as they're live and we can have a bit of a chat as we go, which is always fun. So this is where I say this is the bit where it gets a bit monotonous to watch me do all this colouring. What I did learn when I came to do the stepped up versions is that actually you don't need to colour inside the lines particularly, you just need to get colour down. It's all a bit of a mishmash. So I'm kind of going on that theory again. With this particular, I'm going to move a lot of this colour around with the blender pen. And I also wanted a background colour for the leaves. So what I'm going to do is add some early espresso, but less than I've got on the cat, so just pale. And then probably, just to speed things up, is just add lots of early espresso in the background, just to see what it's going to look like when we move the ink around. And I'm going right over the top of the pumpkin pie because it's all going to blend beautifully. When you look at a pile of leaves in the autumn, it's not individual leaves, it's that colour mishmash. I may even get some rich raspberry in, because that really, there is that lovely sort of gold, almost sunset colour. It's just gorgeous. I've always been fascinated by sunrise and sunset colouring. It's just, oh. So let's go with some rich raspberry, and I'm just going to add a little bit here and there, just to help add a bit of extra depth. And it will all, particularly this colour scheme, will all become a bit more apparent when we step everything up. Oh, I've missed a leaf. I don't think I want a rich raspberry leaf on its own, so I'll do that in brown. Early espresso. Now, Calypso Coral. Calypso Coral's great for skin tone and just rosy cheeks. So I'm just going to go rosy cheeks, because I don't want him to look too florid, although it is a nice crisp day, I think. And I'll give him some hair, or her some hair, our young person. And now I'm going to do some colouring. So let me show you what that looks like before it's blended, so you can sort of see where the lines are, and then we can come in and blend this out. The key with this is to not go in one place for too long, because that will pill, which basically means it breaks down the fibres of the card and is not an attractive look. It's like a jumper that has bobbles on it. So that's the only, well, actually, apart from here, I'm gonna be rash, and I'm going to go from there straight into my leaf background. So I'm going to avoid where the pumpkin pie is. Oh, and I do need to put some grass in, because there is some grass, and grass tends not to go brown over the winter. So, I mean, if it's hay, it does, but that's different somehow. But a lawn, for example, although I don't know, sometimes my lawn does go brown over the winter, or indeed in the summer. But maybe not intentionally. Maybe that's accidental because of the weather. But we'll just move this around. And then I'm going to come in and colour straight on top using my pumpkin, doing my pumpkin pie. And because this particular part of the image is just a pile of leaves and someone having fun, I think we'll get away with it. So it's going to be a bit quicker than if I was doing individual leaves. I think I've coloured everything that is definitely in that pile. And then just scribble that off, and I can do my pumpkin pie so it's definitely that lovely rich orange. And then scribble that off and come in and do the brown, which, because the early espresso is really faintly added here, it's going to be a light brown. It's a bit of I can see the colouring lines, so anywhere where I can see the colouring lines, I'm just going to check that I've got that covered. And then I may need to pick up some more colour for my cat, because I do want my cat to be quite definitely dark. And I'm kind of doing a mottled effect by blobbing rather than rubbing, so that hopefully he will stand out a little more. Yeah, we'll pick some more colour up. So I'm just going to pick some colour up with my blender pen and just add a bit more depth to my cat. And again, I could go into my ink pad and pick more colour up from that, but that's fine. Scribble off, and then I'm going to colour the rest of my small person. So that's the cheeks, nice and rosy, hair done, and then just do all of the red, and then I'll do all of the blue and all of the grey, and whoops, go into the blue, why don't you? So it's quite a bit softer when you blend it out. And then the blue. And I'm being quite slapdash with this. Let's neaten up some of that red. So again, I can pick up some colour straight off the watercolour pencil and just dab that down where I need to, and then just do his trousers and his boots. And because the trousers are grey and the boots are black, I can go straight from one onto the other. I'm not going to worry about that. The black is a really good solid black, and what I might do is just get rid of some of that and just use what's left. A little bit more and get some shading in there. Where's my lid? There's my lid. So that is that done. Let me fold my card. And I know I say this all the time, a bone folder is such a good idea. It gives you a really nice crisp finish. And then bring back in our envelope. So this was the one that I did with the second assortment. This is the one with the first assortment. So, you know, they're very similar, and I went for blue boots. So that's those. Let me just clear the decks a wee bit and show you what I've done for the other two. So this is my first one. So this is using the Blackberry Beauty designer series paper, specialty designer series paper, which has got a little hint of gold in it, and it's cinnamon cider, early espresso, blackberry bliss, rich raspberry. I think that may be everything. So I've tried to get very much those sort of tones. I did bring in Cajun Craze blends. Oh, I didn't do the green. I didn't do green on this. I can't not have green. I've got Old Olive, so let me add my green. Just realised. Oh, so let me very quickly do that. Break my own rule of not scribbling first, but scribble off. So, Cajun Craze, cinnamon cider, rich raspberry, misty moonlight, grey granite with Mossy Meadow light for the grass, and then I've just cut layers. This is pale papaya, but because it's not a solid ribbon, I think it works really well against the vanilla and with the soft version of the cinnamon cider. So that's that with some brushed metallic dots. And then for my next one, I've done basically the same, but I've used the stitch rectangle dies, but I've pieced them together So these, there aren't dies that are this size. What you do is, let me grab them. So you find the size that you want, cut one area, then move it and cut the other area, if you see what I mean. So you can use them for any size that you need. And again, same papers, exactly the same papers, but instead of the brush metallic dots, I've used the Blackberry Bliss ephemera pack and picked out a couple of bits from that, and the same zigzag of ribbon popped up. And then on the inside of these cards, I've just stamped some of the single leaf. So those are the cards that we've made today. So we've got our clean and simple, our first stepped up version, just cutting my layers, and then this version where I've used the stitched rectangles. So I hope you've enjoyed that. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. Do remember to subscribe if you don't, bottom right hand corner. And if you're in the UK and would like to order from me, October is the month to go for, because we've got the Celebration extension at the old stables, and you will also, with a qualifying order, earn the Seasons of Fun host stamp set, as well as my usual thank you pack. Have a fantastic weekend. I hope you have fun, and I will see you again very soon. Bye!